Good morning, NAS kids. Happy Sunday. Welcome to our fourth Sunday of our Summer of Science. Today, we need two things. You will need a sheet or a blanket, and you will need some eggs. So make sure that if you try this experiment home, that you definitely have permission, and make sure that you're in a safe place to make a mess. All right, today we're going to talk about turning away from anger. Great topic for today's world. It seems like everyone around us is full of anxiety, and that in turn seems to be turning into anger. And so today we're going to talk about how we can control the outcome of our arguments if we have self-control. A great thing to make sure that you really become strong in, especially as we get ready to head back to school too. So today's Bible verse comes from Proverbs 15, verse 1. And Proverbs 15, verse 1 says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." So what is that verse saying? It's saying a soft answer, a gentle answer, using kind, soft words in response will help keep things from escalating. So today we're going to talk about how people we have this natural desire to answer things quick and with a harsh response when we kind of feel attacked. He can't get away with saying that kind of thing like we do in school a lot of times. Arguing over who's right and who's wrong. Boy, I hear about that on the playground a lot. However, these heated arguments only increase the problem. The problem isn't getting solved. It's just making people get more and more agitated and more upset. And so this proverb in this lesson gives us a better approach. And that approach is to disarm, to disable, to stop your opponent by controlling your own emotions. This is a very hard thing to do. But if we control our own emotions, we can actually end the argument or the disagreement. So there's no more effective strategy than listening to the other side of an issue and honestly trying to understand why they feel that way, where they're coming from. A gentle answer might even include an apology or just a willingness to answer or listen. So this kind of approach definitely reflects a Christ-like spirit and a positive testimony to others when we can control our own emotions and our own reactions. So today we're going to look at how that happens with an egg. Okay, so I'm going to use an egg and a sheet, and we're going to be looking at the science that is Newton's law of motion. I'm going to throw an egg. An egg is going to go into motion, and the force that egg encounters when it hits the sheet is going to determine the outcome. Just like the words that we throw out, how they get received is going to determine the outcome, okay? So today we're going to kind of look at how when something moving encounters something that stops it, two things can happen. If it's a hard, quick stop, like harsh words, that object that's moving receives a lot of pressure and energy. If we can have something that's coming at it and we can slow it down before it stops it, that object soaks up less energy and there's not as much trauma. So we're going to check that out with an egg, and then we'll talk about how that's to our words. So I've got some raw eggs here today. It's very hot out, so they're getting all sweaty and sticky here. All right, so first of all, we're going to use the egg is going to be the words that are being hurled, and the sheet is going to be how we receive them and our personal reactions. So the first time, the girls are going to hold the sheet up, and they're going to hold it kind of gently, soft. There's a little bit of slack in there because they're going to receive these words with a gentle spirit. So here we go. I think the egg is perfectly fine. It is. The egg is perfectly fine. It was caught slowed down, and then dropped into that pocket. Now, let's have these words be hurled at us, and let's respond with a harsh, tight response. They're pulling the sheet really tight, and let's see what happens to the egg. The egg bounces off and smashes on the ground. And that is kind of how our words and reactions to others also respond. Now, I did learn something really interesting, so I'm going to read to you a little bit about Newton's energy force and a little bit about him, and then we'll sum it up with how we can continue to have a Christ-like spirit with our words and our reactions. So according to Newton's law of the second law of motion of force, the force needed to stop a moving object depends on how quickly the object was stopped. So when it was tight, it was stopped really quickly and it had a lot of reaction. If you can slow the object, like when the sheet was soft, and it slows down, it will just gently kind of drop to the bottom. And so how quickly the object is stopped is instantly causes an experience of force. Okay. Now, I did not know this part. Isaac Newton studied motion 3 centuries ago. He probably would have preferred that his conclusions be called God's law of motions rather than Newton's, because he strongly believed that the Creator had established these rules of our physical world. So I thought that was really interesting to find out that Newton, all those years ago, when he had these scientific discoveries, also was a firm believer in Jesus Christ. So today, I hope that you were able to see a little bit of science and how we can control the outcome of arguments with people by using a soft answer to turn away wrath, where a harsh word will stir up anger. Take that with you back to school and into your interactions, even with your brothers and sisters. That's probably going in with your parents, too. We have to learn to control our emotions, and I know it's hard. Trust me. I've been trying for many years. I hope that you have a fabulous week. If you try this experiment, let me know. I'd love to know how it works for you. Have a great week. I'll talk to you next week.